can you say to people, Mike, that start their building out and run into rock scenarios, whether it's bedrock or large boulders of any kind? What do you do in a situation like that?
Well, and I've run into both of those as a builder, and
not fun generally.
It was not fun, and I quickly learned that there's a reason to have a digging clause in your contract as far as a builder. So for those of you that are builders out there, if you're not covering yourselves with some sort of digging extreme problems, but enter something in your contracts right away, because you'll get burned. Probably the two cases are just rock that you can't dig
too
through.
Big.
And I ran into a case, and of course it was a horse stall barn where
lots of columns.
It's 36 by 72 in Benton City, Washington. It is on a rock shelf where you could dig down about 18 inches and you hit solid rock. Now, in that case, we actually were lucky. We found a guy who was a powder monkey, that's the slang term for a guy that does blasting. And of course, this has been 35 years ago, but he blew 72 holes for us for about $300. And the guy did a great job.
Wow.
You would not have known that they weren't dug with an auger. He was that good. Now, there's some other ways you can get through it too. I used to have a skid loader that we used for digging holes, and we had what they call a hammer hoe attachment for it. And it'll chip right through anything that we've run into. I haven't found anything that we couldn't get through with that. I've had a guy actually from Spokane, Washington, had developed a high pressure water digging a piece of equipment that he used basically for digging power lines, power poles. But we also had him dig some holes for us for post frame buildings, and they were perfectly beautiful 20-inch diameter holes, as deep as you wanted them to be. So there are some alternatives to that. You can do it the hard way. You can rent a jackhammer. A lot of work. The other alternative is, and usually what happened to me was, you'd get down to about the last hole and you'd hit that rock the size of a Volkswagen, and you can try to hammer through it. You can dig it out and create a pit, which in that case,
its own problems.
In that case, really sonotubes are your only cost-effective answer, rather than just trying to fill a hole that big full of concrete. So. Realistically, at the end of the day, there's nothing that can't be dug through.
Can you dig it?
And sometimes it's just a matter of, especially if there's a builder involved, the builder just doesn't want to put in the effort to get the extra few inches.
It can be expensive.
It can be, but there are fairly reasonable alternatives. And that's the one thing that, to a builder's defense, that it's impossible to predict 100% what's underneath that dirt. So, in all fairness to builders, I mean, they deserve to be compensated for that extra work.
I even had in my own personal building this last year, which was kind of odd because I have a building, I don't know, it's probably 60 feet away from the other one. First building I had some good sized rock in it that we had to get out of the holes, but on this one we had some hard pack in it. It was just literally really hard compressed sand and some small rock, but nothing big rock. But he couldn't get through it with the skid steer. And so they had to bring in some heavier equipment to get through it, and they used some sonotubes in spots to do the job. But the typical auger would not get through that stuff. It was only about a 10.5-inch layer thick, and it was just really hard stuff. Once you got it out, it would chip apart, but it wasn't necessarily rock. It was just really hard to get through. So you just don't know what you're going to get into.